Hi, this is Christy from birdmentor.com, where I teach advanced skills to beginning birders, and thanks for joining me today. So, where I live and a few other places I've lived before, we have bear. So we're in bear country, and this time of year it gets to be kind of tricky for some folks. People who love to see the birds in their backyard because they have bird feeders, but they also have the, I guess, quote unquote problem of having bear. And this, like I said, it can get kind of tricky with what to do. People, you want to still see your birds, right? And you love to have them come to your house and come close and interact. And you can learn so much about them at the bird feeder. It's just a joy to watch them. And so, but when you live in bear country, people are encouraged to take their feeders down during the pretty much like late winter all the way until late fall. It's, when the bears come out of hibernation and when they go back into hibernation. Then, throughout the winter, it's a safe time to have those feeders up. But I want to share a couple alternatives of things that you can do to still call and inspire the birds to come into your yard right now, while keeping all of the wildlife safe, because if you do keep your feeders up, you're endangering the bear. I know where I lived in Colorado, people were told that the bear would be, they'd have I think it was 2 or 3 shots before, or chances before they were euthanized. But there were so many problems that they actually were just euthanizing the bears on the spot. So if someone called and said, I have a problem bear in my yard, meaning just there's a bear in my yard and it's causing me a problem, or it's getting into my trash, whatever it may be, then they would euthanize the bear. And to me, this just breaks my heart to think that, that it doesn't have to happen that way. And there are things that we can do to to help the wildlife. Okay, so one really great idea that I love is to obviously take your feeders down first. And then what you can do is get a bird bath. And so you'd be surprised at how many birds actually come in to use the bath. Where I am right now on the East Coast, water isn't as much of an issue for birds, but you'll still find that they'll come to your bird bath. So both a dust bath and a bird bath, birds need those little bits of gravel in the morning. So if you have a little spot where you have some gravel and dust, and dirt, birds love that, and they need that to keep themselves clean, keep them free of mites. But also the bird bath where they can drink water and clean themselves off. There's some specifications on bird baths, and I'll provide some links below for a couple good options for you all. The other thing is, if you live in the dry land, like in Colorado, Arizona, Utah, any of those places, even parts of eastern Washington, eastern Oregon, the birds love the water. They need the water. There's not as many opportunities for them to find fresh water. And so having a bird bath is an incredible resource for the birds and other wildlife, actually. So you'd be surprised at how many birds actually come in for the bird bath. And bird baths can be really beautiful to have in your yard. And there's a few varieties. There's some that the hummingbirds really love. It has a little, looks like a little water spout or water sprinkler when you kind of provide a mist. If you provide a little mist, that the hummingbirds love that. Again, I'll offer some links down below of options for you. Okay, and the other thing that you can do, this is more for hummingbirds per se, and that is to have, when you take your feeders down, if you have one of those hook feeders, that have the little hooks that you put the bird feeders on, replace those feeders with hanging pots. Right, like the fuchsia. Fuchsia is a great one to have out there. Hummingbirds just love it, and they'll totally flock to the plants that you have out there. Okay, last and certainly not least is to start planting some native species in your yard. They provide not only flowers for the birds to get nectar from and whatnot, but also throughout the year, the stalks can provide places for insect to bore into, which will then be food for the birds in the wintertime, in the fall. And and then also certain native species will call actually different birds to that habitat. I met this wonderful bird photographer, goodness, can I remember his name right now? I don't right now, but he wrote the book, The Owl and the Woodpecker. And it's a book of photography of, owls and woodpeckers. And I was listening to his talk, and it was a photography talk actually, and photographers were asking him, like, how do you get all these shots? How do you get all these amazing birds? And he said that he doesn't go looking for the birds, he goes looking for their habitat. So he goes looking for what they eat, right? And so it's so important to, if you want particular species to come to your yard, find out what they eat, you know, find out what kind of trees they like to nest in and what shrubs they like to hang out in. And then if you plant those, it's kind of like that movie, you know, if you build it, they will come. If you plant it, they will come. All right, I hope those were some helpful tips for you today. Please get out there and help spread some bird love in the world. And if you know anyone that could find this video useful, feel free to share it with them. All right, thanks so much.